want to succeed in homeschooling, do you? Well, if you want to succeed, the most important person in your homeschool, contrary to what you might think, is the teacher. Now, why do I say that? Because if the teacher isn't able to conduct the schooling, then not a lot of learning is going to take place. So the teacher, the mother usually, is the person who has to make sure that she's well rested, that she's well prepared for what's ahead of her, and that she has proper times away from her job of teaching and mothering so that she can refresh herself and actually be in a position to energize herself once again. I remember when my children were younger, having the situation where from morning till night I was with the children, I was conducting different age levels of schooling, and I was running them to different activities. If I didn't have an activity for myself that was quite different than what I was doing day in and day out, I felt I became stale, and sometimes I even felt irrelevant. Now, I'm not talking about opportunities to go to the grocery store by yourself, whereas that's sometimes very refreshing. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that will serve as a recreational or a learning situation. At one time, it was martial arts classes. I would go there 2 or 3 times a week for an hour at a time, and when I came back, I was ready to go. At other times, I engaged myself in swimming. One time, I even took a fencing class for a series of weeks, something that was so totally different, something that did not put me in the context of being somebody's mother or somebody's teacher, where I could be me and just me and sort of explore areas that I wanted to do it. For other people, book clubs have worked that kind of capacity, or even doing volunteer work someplace, things that are so totally different from what they do as a homeschool teacher. Well, how are you going to get all your housework done? How are you going to get the grocery shopping done? This is where homeschool truly can be different than day schools, because part and parcel of the education can be teaching your children how to live and operate and even run a family should they ever need to. So my children would come with me when it came time to do grocery shopping, and they'd be given a list. Sometimes I even sat in the car while I sent my children in to do certain things, and I would find out, okay, now it's time to come in and pay. Other times, when it came time to finding that day for myself, I might leave and instruct my children that they're the ones who are responsible to clean the house on the Saturday or whenever we chose to do it. My children always had the understanding, but by the time they reached 7 or 8 years old, their laundry was their responsibility, not mine. You see, if the homeschool parent, and as I said, most often that's the mom, decides that she's going to do everything and be super mom, well, what she'll really become is super stressed out mom, super tired mom, and a mom who, when things get difficult in life, is ready to abandon the whole enterprise of homeschool, which most of them don't want to do. So you've got to plan for success, and in planning for success, you've got to delegate responsibilities. Sometimes, and in some families, it may mean that they hire somebody to come in and help clean the house. Well, some people say we can't afford that in our budget. Well, maybe you can. Maybe there'll be another homeschool family that has some children or who are old enough and responsible enough, and they could use some extra money. You can find ways to do it, and this is where the husband has to really take a lead role in observing his wife and saying, is she burning out? Is she stressing out? And call some holidays where there's not going to be school on a particular day, and maybe as the dad, you take the kids out and give mom a regular respite from her activities. As somebody who was on call as a mom and a homeschool teacher 24/7, I can tell you that those were the greatest bits of relief that I got. Yes, Proverbs 31 says that her husband and children will call her blessed, and I believe that many homeschool mothers will get that sort of reward and commendation from their families. But not until they realize that in order to be the kind of woman and the kind of teacher that they want to be, that they have to have a fresh perspective, and they can't be cynical, tired, and upset all the time because of all that they have to do. Homeschooling works. You'll make some mistakes along the way, but especially if the husband who heads the homeschool family is really taking a look at what's going on, he'll realize that his most important member of the homeschool education is his wife.